It was
I saw the billboard in Times Square yesterday. That's
Oh,
what it
the
was
Oh,
for.
really? I'm
billboard!
glad that's
Oh,
working out.
awesome!
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, our marketing budget was well spent.
Yes.
Yes.
Ever sent up on the screen.
Who's
Lovely.
playing
And
the music?
Someone have an old
I
timey
don't
music
know.
box.
All right,
Someone's
so
ringtone.
folks, we can give folks a couple more
trying to
minutes
join.
to filter in.
Good. That was my
Yeah.
How's it going? If you could
that was
just
my reminder. I've
mute
got a
your mic
doctor's
before the
appointment.
show starts, I'll give you a little high five.
Oh, you should probably
Gotta go.
advertise that over this.
Nice.
Good night. Good
Sounds
to
like
see you.
sounds more important.
Yeah.
All right,
Cheers.
fine. I'm the
Cheers.
usher, so here I'll lead you to your seat. There you go.
Okay.
Fart.
So I'm the usher.
There's no
Thank you
popcorn,
so
can
much.
do it yourself before the show.
It's like a real show.
Yeah, no, I'm professional.
Yes. Oh, of course. And so is this audience. You're all doing
Audience being
exceptionally
very
well.
professional.
Yes.
Can you guys
We might even get to rate the audience after, right?
If
It's
they can
you
do
know.
the wave at the end of it, I'll rate it.
It's a
Oh,
very
the
good
wave.
audience.
Yes. Are there any other special skills in the audience that you'd like to call out before we begin?
You raise your hand if you have a fun little skill or talent you want to show. I can make a fun noise. Watch
Is
this.
this old fart raising their hand over here?
My
Yeah, old fart. You can unmute
My
yourself. What
special-
can you do?
my special talents is doing air quotes. So, for instance, presidential. See how
That's
that
very
works?
good.
Hysterical. I like your cut.
If only we could use multiple fingers at once, doesn't it?
Oh, it looks like we got a
Oh, I
gaming
know.
wolf.
Oh.
Gaming wolf. Do you have a special
Airport
talent you want to
king.
share with the class? I mean, audience.
Class.
My special talent is floating on people.
That's honestly so
awesome.
impressive.
Yes. Very impressive.
I would clap if these hands were real.
But you have
Snaps
this
for
clapper.
everybody.
You have that thing.
It is truly a unique
Oh yeah,
talent.
you're right. I can emote if I try hard enough. Let me give you a couple little.
So we've got a lot of
Ooh, there you
folks
go.
here.
Ooh, some
Should
for
we-
you.
It is
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'd love to welcome everybody here and thank you so much for coming. And we know that we're going to have a few other folks join us, and they're most welcome. So we've actually kind of kept this a little bit flexible of an event in the sense that I haven't blocked off the stage. So we would love it though if you, as a most wonderful audience, wouldn't mind staying to the wonderful audience area during the spot. And also thank you for our flying demo. We're also going to ask that just our camera folks be flying today as they capture. So in any case, welcome everyone. What you're here for is a panel discussion with the folks behind me. My name is Rebecca Evans, and I lucked out a couple weeks ago and got cast in an amazing new production. And that's partly why we're here today. So we're here today for two reasons. Number one, to share information that our panel here has gathered from a lot of different experiences, both in-person events, theatrical events, all across all mediums, and now moving into virtual reality events. So a quick question, who here, give me some emojis if you've ever heard of or played the game The Under Presents. Is anyone familiar with that game? Great, we've got a couple.
Hey!
Fantastic.
Hey, right on.
Fantastic, great. So you kind of know what we're talking about. And for those of you that aren't familiar, that's a well-known game by an amazing studio called Tender Claws. So it's a game that you purchase separately, and there are folks in parts of the game that are live actors at different times. So how awesome is this that some of the folks here on the stage have been involved with that production and other similar ones. So my personal experience ranges by day. You might find me doing software user experience or product management. And well, for the last 6 years, I've also been involved with virtual reality. So now it's all kind of coming together. So let's see. What I'm going to do is give you just a little bit of an introduction to the show Para. And, basically, the show came together in a really amazing way from the people that you're seeing behind me. And this year has brought a lot of change, as you know, some good, a lot of bad, and every industry's been hit. As you know, live immersive theater is just basically closed completely. But these folks, yeah, I know. Cirque du Soleil. I mean, so many. The big folks. I had a friend at Ringling. So rather than calling it quits, these folks, like many others, they've turned to technology to kind of see what they can do with these socially distant experiences. So some have gone to Zoom, some, using email, phone calls. For us, for this group, and for some other amazing folks, it's been virtual reality. And as you all know, with folks more in isolation, more stuck in their homes, VR headsets have been a big purchase for this year. And I think that just more is going to come. So there's been that sea of change this year. Some good. Um, well, and so here we go. Halloween's been canceled, but it hasn't been canceled, right? So the crew here chose a horror theme for Para, the first project. And so what Para is, it's a short form horror experience where you, the audience, are treated as prospective clients as we introduce you to the company's newest innovation, a true AI. You know, Forget Elon, right? Neuralink, nah, we've got it happening. so as the narrative unfolds, the guests will play witness to the follies of unchecked ambition, and there might have to be some sacrifices necessary to stay on the bleeding edge. so that's a little bit about the show. The and we wanted to, the production team here wanted to find ways to kind of cater the experience to this medium, and people respond differently to their interactions in virtual reality compared to the real world or video games. So some things that have come forth, even doing scares work differently. The creation, writing, directing, the acting, they're all different, and it's amazing to experience. And it's just really our pleasure to be here and to share with you. So thank you for that. And I just kind of wanted to know one other quick question from the audience. For those of you, so for your avatars, maybe give me a heart emoji if your avatar, if you feel like it kind of represents your physical self, like your primary avatar, whether your primary avatar is in alt space or somewhere else. So, I'm just kind of curious, right? Because we have all these cool options. Thank you. So we've got, kind of a good selection of people. And so, for some of the other folks, perhaps your favorite preferred avatar is not necessarily representative of your general physical appearance. Do we have any claps or hearts of emojis from those folks? Cool. Very nice. Thank you. We really appreciate it. And welcome to the folks in the back. We're going to be doing a panel discussion today, if you didn't hear, and then we're going to follow it up with some Q&A. So you're welcome to join us, and thank you. Okay, so without further ado, oh my goodness, I'm standing in front of you. They told me I wasn't, but I'm going to move over here a little bit. All right, so we've got a bunch of folks with us today. And let me give you a list. So on stage, each person is going to give a little wave. So let's hear it for Brian Tall. There's Brian. Thank you. Aw, thanks, everybody. And where's Braden? Got Braden Roy here.
Hello.
Back here in the back. You guys can move out a little further from your comfy sofa. And then we have Deirdre V. Lyons. Big wave. Thank you so much. Fantastic. And then we have Stephen Puchko.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you. Excellent. Elliot Adams.
Hello.
You've already seen Elliot in action with their fabulous moderation earlier and greeting you. So thank you, Elliot. And where's Gabby? We have Gabby. There she is. Okay, and our final set of introductions and gracious thank yous are to our camera crew. So those folks are Carlos Austin, Sean Eckert, Tony Trudell, and Ben Hayes. Oh, you guys are so kind. All right, great. Okay, so I'm going to start introducing our panel now, and I'll just give a little bio for each person, and then they'll kind of come up and give some thoughts on their current experiences. And I have a ton of questions to ask these guys later, but definitely, want to hear what comes up for you as we, move through, and then we'll take the questions in Q&A at the end. So first, let's talk about Brian. Where are you, Brian? Okay, so Brian is a film and theater critic at horrorbuzz.com, specializing in immersive theater and VR. So he also helps organize the yearly short film festival in Horror Buzz, and that's run at the Midsummer Scream Horror Convention in Long Beach since 2017. And he's also a longtime VR enthusiast who's been dreaming and tinkering in VR since the days of the early Oculus development kits. So, Brian, let's welcome you to the stage.
Hey everybody, my name is Brian, and I am the, I guess you could say, creator of this project. Progenitor, maybe is the better word. I mean, it's my baby, but without my team, it would be a dead baby, and nobody likes a dead baby. Yeah, I was gonna give you all a story about the early days of my life and coming up and becoming a horror fan, but none of that matters to anyone here. Let's just focus and move a little bit further forward to like 2014-ish. And that's when I, like many of you, got involved with the Oculus Development Kit 1 back in the very, very early days. I was even, prior to that, I was even on the forum that Palmer Luckey introduced the prototypes on for those proto headsets. I didn't have the money at the time to get a headset, so I was over in Irvine in these office buildings trying out all of these homebrew things that people were doing back in the early days. And fast forward a little bit further, and I joined up with Horror Buzz, just as a big fan of horror all my life. I started writing reviews for movies initially, and then I started getting some haunt work. So I was reviewing haunted houses, like Not Scary Farm, Universal Studios. And then I started reviewing more immersive theater, which, if you don't know, immersive theater is essentially where they drop the stage and the audience is brought into the world, which is essentially what we're trying to do with this show in VR. So yeah, so I started reviewing immersive stuff, and as I was doing that, I had already gotten into VR, and I was like, surely someone needs to bring these worlds together soon. And then that was in 2015, 2016, and then a year passed, and another year passed, another year passed, and then finally, November of last year, The Under Presents comes out, which is, to my knowledge, the first major commercially available attempt at bringing these two worlds together, bringing the world of immersive fiction together with VR. So I got really into that, along with many of the other people on stage here, either as actors or as fans. And that brought me into more contact with Deirdre here, who I had known from her work in immersive shows. And then as that experience started to wrap up, that was towards the end of September, where we thought the actors were all going to be leaving. We had actors in the space for this entire year, essentially, and then we thought they were all going to be leaving and we'd never see them again. So I needed something to do to fill my time. So I helped set up a live performance Discord server along with Braden here. And around that same time, we got an invite to Finding Pandora X, which was a wonderful show in VR chat that Deirdre was starring in. And I saw that, wow, you were able to create a live show in VR. Why don't we try to do that? And also to bring more attention to the Discord server that we'd established. So we went ahead and did it. And we managed to get Deirdre on board. She's been wonderful and very, it's been a wonderful team. Braden here does most of the writing. Deirdre here does most of the setting up of events and promotion. So we have a wonderful small little team here. And yeah, we got started in that around the middle of September. And it was originally supposed to just be this like simple little community project for the fans of the Under. But as time went on and as ambitions increased, as Deirdre got involved, and then as we were able to bring on some actors from the Under, the project has gotten more and more ambitious, and I think continued to get better over time. But that was also something that we had to wrangle with as creators is the increasing ambition. I guess before we get to the Q&A, that would probably be the biggest thing that I've taken away from this experience. We were, I think, clever about it, and we managed to write our path, and we managed to kind of rein ourselves in. But dealing with the expansive ambition and trying to figure out what we can actually do versus what we want to do. I think it's been one of the biggest challenges in VR, but I think we've tackled it, and we've got a lot of great responses thus far. So I hope that some of you will enjoy this talk and maybe come out to see us at the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Braden Roy. Braden, where are you? Come on up. All right. Thank you. So, a little about Braden. He majored in film production with minors in computer science and fine art at the Minnesota State University Moorhead. So while his day job is system and network administration, along with web development and graphic design, he does a lot. He has a background in illustration and marketing, combined with music production, game design, and development. So, Braden, with that, I think he's got probably a couple things to share. So thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My start with the project is very similar to Brian. I had initially really not had a whole lot of exposure to immersive theater. However, I was knee-deep in VR since the early days. I think I was something like backer number 50 or 100 or something of the original Oculus Rift. So it's been a long journey, but immersive theater had only ever been on my radar. I had read about it. I knew about like Sleep No More and the concept, but I'm from South Dakota, and South Dakota is not really an option. For the most part, immersive theater is centered around major metropolitan areas, whether it's the East Coast, West Coast, Chicago. Outside of that, you're going to have to travel. So I knew about it, but it was nebulous. That was until I discovered The Underpresents. At the time, I went in blind, didn't really know what it was, then found out, oh, hey, it's multiplayer. There's live actors here. There's some really cool stuff going on here, and things built, and it put it into perspective that this format, this medium that had previously been kind of sequestered in a few select areas, was now open to the entire world. And I thought that was incredible. As time went on, I, like Brian, ended up going to see Deirdre here at a show called Finding Pandora X, which was excellent and went on to actually win an award at the Venice Film Festival, which is incredible. Shortly thereafter, I was actually talking with Deirdre and telling her my thoughts on the medium, my hopes for the future, what it could be, what it is, what it has been. And she joked saying, you know, one of these days you're going to be directing me. And I thought, no. And I still am not quite doing that. But like 2 weeks later, we got this project going. Brian spearheaded it with the idea of, hey, let's make this happen. We saw that it could be done. So let's bring people together. Let's make this possibility, this glimpse of the future that we saw with The Underpresents and Finding Pandora X. Let's make it a reality. Let's find people and show them that there are tools available that can help you create something that you can put into the world, that you can experience even if you're not creating, regardless of where you are. You can go out there and you can make it. You can touch people. You can find out what the next big thing is. I mean, YouTube opened a lot of possibilities for filmmakers. You didn't have to have tons of equipment to get the word out there. You didn't need to pay for advertising or all that. What we're looking at today is a realization of that, but the next step. It is to YouTube what movies were to books, and I can't wait to see what the rest of you potentially do next. I can't wait to see what we do next, and hopefully I can't wait to see you at Para. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So now we'd love to call up to the center stage Deirdre E. Lyons. Okay, folks, Deirdre's a VR actor in 2 180-degree films, The Willows and Freakin' Weekend. She's additionally a live VR actor in Finding Pandora X, which we just talked about, and The Underpresents. In addition to that, she's been in The Underpresents Tempest, and then, of course, now in Para. Please welcome.
We start by turning on the mic so that everybody can hear. Hello, hi, I'm Deirdre. Nice to meet you all. Hello, hello, hi. I'm going to throw a bunch of information at you at very high speed, so just be prepared. We are all natural storytellers. It's sort of the core of nature, and we are now at the tip of the spear with this sort of new technology that allows us to tell those stories in a unique way. I mean, that feels more alive and visceral, that allows us to be almost anywhere in the world and feel like we're standing in the same room together like we are here now. Now, I've spent a lot of time doing immersive theater in Los Angeles over the last several years, literally standing in the room together with the audience, no stage, no theater, no seating, and the audience becomes immersed in the world we create for them. In my experience, this new platform, VR, is most suited to theater and specifically immersive theater, where the audience becomes part of the story because all they need to do is put on a headset to be transported to another world. It's exciting and does a lot of that immersion for you. It creates the suspension of disbelief or the magic circle just by being involved visually in this environment. Now, when you are doing immersive theater, your scene partner will often be the audience. They will not know the lines or what they are supposed to do, and it is incumbent upon us, the performers, to give them the permissions and the boundaries of this world. This will often call for a lot of improvised and devised theater skills, as you will need to let your audience know what is okay and what isn't without ever punishing members of the audience for doing something bad, or even when you're chastising them for going the wrong way or doing something incongruent with the story. You need to know your character and brush up on your backstory, because you will need to say something when they ask you some unexpected question or do something in unexpected ways. And here's the funny thing: in VR, you are no longer limited to being a human looking character. Your avatar, the VR representation of you, depending on the platform, can be anything in the world: a Campbell's soup can, a stick of butter. So let your avatar inform how you move when you're acting in VR. Work in front of a virtual mirror. Adhere to the rules of the real world, just so don't walk through walls or tables or chairs unless the story directs it. Perhaps you're a ghost or what have you. Walk around other characters and other visual obstructions. It's just best to try for what looks the most natural in the physical world. Otherwise, it can be pretty distracting to an audience. Now, as a human, we are never really still, even when we stand still. But when avatars are still, they move and behave like a puppet and can look lifeless when the actor inhabiting the avatar is not moving. And so, to breathe life into your avatar, always try to keep moving in some small way. Even when you're listening, actively listen, unless the story calls for something otherwise. So, for example, in Para, we have AI characters, and in that case, it is actually great when they are still, especially when we introduce them in one of our first scenes. It is very much a surprise when they come to life and talk and interact with the audience. Now, because your voice is the most alive thing in a computer generated VR world, it is your most effective tool. So use it. Inflections, pitches, lean into descriptive words and phrases, indulge yourself with sounds and noises. Take time to paint the world with them. Now, also be aware of the latency in VR, a very slight delay between what you say and when the audience or your fellow actor hears it. At times, you may need to use the sound of a breath or a laugh or other noise to precede speech, especially if you need to alert the audience that you are now about to talk, or pull their attention to you prior to whatever you want them to hear or to see. And you may have to wait longer than you expect for a response from someone. So stay on your cues from your fellow actors to keep up the pace and of the scene, because pauses, they don't really work in VR. Now, because your voice is going straight into the ear of your audience through your headset, performance can be a very intimate experience if you so choose. When a scene calls for it, you can whisper and be close. You can allow yourself to see through the audience's avatar and look into the avatar's eyes. It will feel just like you are looking into their own eyes, or caress their cheek, even though it is a virtual space, our minds will supply the memory of what this feels like in the real world. These moments can be powerful, so embrace them if you can. Find spaces for them. And since this is a new technology, during any live performance, things will go wrong. About 90% of the time, the event will go great, but leave 10% for imperfection. Even after you've gotten everything rehearsed and you think you've worked out all the bugs, you know, your Wi-Fi may fail or your scene partner's Wi-Fi may fail. It's okay. In a strange way, as this is such a new technology, it is even expected. Everyone understands and is forgiving of these tech issues. Even though we allow ourselves the suspension of disbelief, and it is forgiving of those tech issues, there is a part of our brain that understands that we are at home in a headset, right? And with controllers in our hands. So give yourself the gift of imperfection. Embrace the realization that perfection is really unrealistic and actually a boring goal, and never more so than in VR. And if you can, build some contingencies into your show if possible. Try to have a backup plan for when something goes wrong and when something new goes wrong. Would you know, figure out a backup plan for when that thing happens again, seemingly at random. Certainly there's a lot to tell, right? And we are just going to brush the surface here now, but congratulate yourselves on being part of something new, like film in the 20s or computers in the 70s. We are only at the beginning of this exploration. There's a whole new way of telling stories to explore. So go forth and be an adventurer. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That was fascinating. That was so wonderful. And thank you, everybody. Yes, exactly. It's an amazing thing to kind of be together, and it seems odd at times, and then it becomes natural. And it's something that kind of, I don't know about you folks, but for me, it kind of goes in and out. You know, sometimes I've found myself moving like my avatar does. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like how we have a whole hand here, and your hand curves a certain way. So in real life, I've noticed myself sweeping my hand as though and I kind of see my avatar, and I don't even spend that much time in VR. So that's why I thought it's so fascinating. And even just being part of this show has been a huge learning experience for me. So we have a couple other folks I want to introduce. Steve Wichko, come on up. Thank you so much. So I want to tell you a little bit about Steve. So after he got his bachelor degree in theater and performing, and moved around the Seattle area for a few years, he made the move to LA with his then girlfriend Deirdre. Do we know who she is? Ah, well, no, cool. So since then, Steve has produced and performed in theater, film, and television. He recently made the jump into virtual reality, helping to produce and perform in para with now his bride, Deirdre. So welcome, and would love to hear more about what you've been doing with the show.
Oh, hi, everybody. Well, she pretty much said it, so it's hard to follow in that. But it's been a fascinating experience for me outside of VR. Along with Deirdre, I have a fair amount of experience performing and producing in the various realms of entertainment. In fact, I auditioned for Samantha at Tenderclaws for The Ender Presents, and they cast me, and I was very excited about that. And I ended up not being able to do it because my schedule conflicted with it, so I couldn't do that. But it's been wonderful being here for all of Deirdre's adventures in performing in virtual reality. And I knew that I would end up here at some point. And fortunately, I get to do this with Brian and Deirdre and Braden and all these other talented, wonderful folks here. Para is my first virtual reality job as an actor and co-producer, and I would be willing to bet that out of everybody here, I'm the baby of the VR family. I just don't have a lot of experience in virtual reality, and so this has been a hell of a learning experience. I've got a lot more to learn as well. So with Para, this particular show, we've it's been produced much like outside of VR in the sort of quote real world form of producing. We put it up, we rehearse it like you would a normal theatrical production. The characters are brought to life by the actors through learning the story and the script. In our particular case, in the immersive world, there's a certain amount of dialogue that's written, but to get us from point A to point B through the scene, but then the rest of it, there's a fair amount of improv with the audience members, which is really the exciting part, because we get to share some of those intimate moments personally with people. And it's fascinating for me to try see what works in this genre. What works, what doesn't work. Now, most of the process, the learning process, is the same outside of VR. But what I have learned is that there is so much context with regard to body language that is lost. We don't get to emote with our faces nearly as much, or our bodies, so we have to find workarounds with that. Now, Deirdre touched on a lot of those with using our vocal inflections, heightened emotional responses can help get the point across. I've also, what has been very helpful for me is going way back and re-looking at the old classic forms of performing, like the Greeks did with their mask work, and back in the Commedia dell'arte forms of theater and entertainment, as well as marionette artists that can really bring amazing amounts of emotion out of these things that aren't even real. What I found to be very helpful is to get into a world, a mirror world, and just work the script, work the character in front of the mirror, and see what works. As Deirdre pointed out, in VR, especially performing in VR chat worlds, you've just got to be patient with all the technical issues. There's going to be technical issues. We kind of accept them as yet another character in our show. It's just going to happen, and you've got to find the workarounds. And it keeps us on our toes, if we had them. Which we don't here. But I just have a question for all of you guys briefly. Who here has a motion tracking outfit? Does anybody have the full body motion tracking outfit? Doesn't look like they're fairly rare at this point, and I think that once those get to be a standard, that'll help us out a lot. But it's been a hell of a ride so far. These guys have all been very supportive. I've learned a lot, and I very much look forward to the next show, which is in development, and finishing off Parrot. So thanks for your time, everybody. Come see the show, and we'll see you out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much. And your mention of puppetry, Steve, made me think. I just wanted to mention that for those of you who feel like it, sticking around afterwards, we'll do just a little world tour of a couple fun and funky worlds. None of them are actually Halloween themed, because there's other places for that. But one of them is supposed to be a really unique controlling yourself as a marionette puppet world. So we might want to check that out. Yeah, and it's done by Daisy, who's amazing. Has anyone been to that world yet? The puppet world? Yeah, the puppet theater. Okay, good, great. So I've got it favorited, and that's one of the, I don't know, I've got a few we can hit up afterwards, just for a good time, and to kind of see how we feel in different environments, right? Whether that's in just for you socializing, or whether we kind of think about performing in an environment. So, in fact, we had a little fun the other day with setting up this environment, which, as you guys know, is basically a template world from AltSpace. But even just adding a few touches, we had a really good time. It was just like designing your stage set. So, for those of you world builders out there, big hearts. It can be fun, it can be challenging. You learn new stuff, and then you get to design things with your friends. So we've had a good time doing that. So I wanted to introduce. We've got two speakers left before we get to Q&A. So I'd like to bring up Elliot. Where are you at? There's Elliot. Thanks, Elliot. So Elliot is a New York-based actor and instructor from the Wayfinder Experience LARPing community. They have backgrounds. What was that? Oh, sorry, I heard someone say something. So Elliot, they have backgrounds in traditional theater, improv, and burlesque. They're a Leo. They like pina coladas, my favorite as well, and getting caught in the virtual rain. So, welcome to the stage.
I just got like like 6 friend requests when he said that line. I love it. Hi everyone, it's so good to be here. This is a really cool experience to be part of. Yes, as they said, I'm an actor for Para. I've been an actor for over a decade. My first immersive experience job was at a haunted house, classic. I've also been an actor in some musicals, a couple little indie movies, a couple Shakespeare productions, and like a billion puppet shows. But most of what I've done is lots and lots and lots of improv and live action role play through Wayfinder in New York. LARP being one of the most kind of immersive theaters I can think of. You literally there's no stage. You go in, there's a show going on around you, but of course it's all improv and you make it up. So it's different from what we're doing here, but
by shutting the fuck up.
Can we get someone to mute them, please?
Yeah, who's got extra comments that needs to take them elsewhere? Can you guys help point out who needs to go take a walk?
Carry on.
Okay. All right. Please, Elliot.
Right? Sorry about that. So yeah, I've been VR for almost 2 years now. It's been one of my favorite hobbies ever since I got my Oculus Go and made myself a little silly pink robot here on AltSpace. I was introduced to the concept of acting in VR through the Underpresents, which quickly became my favorite game. It's like an immersive, exotemporal surrealist club with beatnik vibes, and it's literally so incredible. And as a sprite with no voice in the under, I had to use pantomiming, like regular miming, snapping and dancing as language instead of talking, which has been really, really cool. You don't get to do that so much as just like the regular acting job. It's like, on a stage with words and a script, but being able to express yourself through just movement, magic, and snapping was just the coolest to me. And when I saw that they had live actors that would come on as like a skeleton or a talking cat or like a giant flaming demon, I'm like, wow, I want to do that. And so somewhere between going to Pandora X and the first run of the actors from the Underpresents ending, Deirdre asked me to audition for Para, and I could not be more thrilled that I'm part of it now. After joining the VR theater team, it really gave me that feeling of connection and community and play that I had been missing so much since quarantine started and took all my acting gigs away, So I feel so lucky to be able to perform with these awesome people. Like, I'm in the same room with them, all these new friends I've made. And it really kind of hits the same as in real life theater, because there's still a little bit of that like giggling behind the curtains before the stage starts, and everyone knowing the script and all those little like in jokes and stuff. So uh, it's like got me a little emotional just because I love it so much. It's amazing. Um, live person shows, there's a little bit of an advantage because there's no chance of, say, the entire audience flipping through the floor, or you know, I could say lots of examples like that, being flung into outer space with no warning, or your voice just stopping. And as a VR actor, I don't have to worry about being out of breath in between scenes, like running from, like stage left to stage right, never being uncomfortable in a costume. It's a huge plus. I am a professional, but being able to engage with an audience like right now in pajamas, like right now, is, I think, an amazing leap forward in theater, in my opinion. Another thing about VR acting is that being able to embody a character quite literally through their avatar, it's like honestly such a surreal experience. It's really cool. Like there's only so much you can do in live theater with costuming and puppets, which I love, of course, but just being able to turn into, say like a dinosaur or like a little anime girl or something you could never do in real life, just at the click of a button or the flip of a switch. I really think that this is kind of the future of theater, honestly. Um, as the technology becomes more accessible, I think VR acting can enable, say, like physically disabled people who couldn't normally be part of a show. Like, it's possible for you to come to rehearsals from your own home, however you are, whoever you are, in VR. So this new kind of theater is really the future, I think, and I can't wait to see what wild adventures we get to go on after this wild adventure. I love Para. I love everyone who's involved. I love all of you who came out for this, and I can't wait to see you all there.
I love you shutting up.
Woo, 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 woo. Great speech.
Thank you so much, Elliot.
Very nice.
Okay, so want to call up to the stage. Last but definitely not least, we have Gabby. So Gabby
Hello, everybody.
is, yes, an actor, a story contributor, and in the under, she's the one that hands on face crumb. Can you explain that?
Okay. Hello, everybody. As you know from this lovely person over here who just introduced me, my name is Gabby. Um, I'm an actor for Para. I write. I helped a lot with the story. Not as much as Brayden though. So yeah. I'm the type of person who is deep and fascinated with things like the Under Presents. I know some of you like play the game. I saw people like in the first like part of this thing say like they play the game. So you may be familiar with me. I play a lot. You may know me as like, but yeah. So I'm pretty much kind of like addicted to the game. So that's what we're gonna talk about. My story. So I guess I'll start this talk off with like a little topic we can talk about. It is very easy to get immersed in something if you need to find a way out of a bad situation and or have like very strong emotions. It's easy to get like immersed. It sounds a little bit confusing, but you'll get it as soon as I talk a little more. Early 2020, I found like this new game. It's called The Under Presents. I already told it like 50 times, but like, so I decided to try it out. And with that, I fell into this lovely rabbit hole. And I sort of developed this personality for myself. It was sort of like a switch. Whenever I played the game, I sort of like changed my personality and like I got into like this new persona. Like it's like nothing to my IRL self. It was kind of an escape because I wasn't doing well mentally at that time, and it really helped me. And I met a lot of new friends, a community, and here we are. Para. So we kind of use video games as like an escape from real life, as a way to have a little vacation, and we use like theater to like stories and stuff, like to get immersed in like the stories. So if you put that in like a pan and like you mix it up, you got this lovely soup. Immersive VR, interactive, you know. And that's what me and my friends are doing. I want people to be happy. I want people to have like this little escape from these trying times, you know. And it's like it's pretty fun because here is kind of like I described, but it brings the immersiveness and makes it all scary. So haunts like kind of make have like these ways of making stuff scary. Like some haunts make you eat cockroaches and stuff, but like we use that immersiveness, and that's what makes it 10 times scarier. Like you're not on a screen or anything. You're in VR. You get people like scaring the crap out of you, and you pee your pants and stuff. So yeah, overall, I think I'm pretty excited for the future of this new genre. And I feel like we are contributing to it, going to shows, making things like Para. And I am super excited for the future of stuff like this. So yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Gabby. That was
No
awesome. And
problem.
that kind of bright spirit, is something you've all seen too in alt space or whatever VR world you might go into. Is that people's vibe, carries across. And so it is it's been a fascinating experience. That's sort of why I'd asked earlier, which folks, maybe tend to choose an avatar that isn't like yourselves. It's also fascinating. We have all these options to play with, and even in the show, there's mirrors. We have a fake office in the show. You can see a photo of it back there, that Krampus built. Brian. and so it's fascinating to be in this virtual environment, of course, looking at your virtual avatar self, but on top of that, you're embodying a different character. And also, I really like that we mentioned the ability of uh, disabled or differently abled folks being able to now participate in different ways, and I think we have a lot of places to go with that. Even as much as our avatars here, in alt space, for example, there's lots of choices that you can make at a high level for how to represent avatars, that make them cleaner, right, than say an environment like VR chat, which has a lot more variety. And those are both important things. In my mind, it's great to have a variety of social VR experiences. People are going to be drawn to different ones at different times. So it's been fascinating for myself, having spent a little more time in alt space, to go into VR chat and have this real variety of avatars. And then actually the mouth doesn't move on the one that I have. So that's also interesting, because then you're conveying even beyond the fact that the avatar, either the mouth may not move or doesn't have a conventional mouth. And where do you go with that? So thank you so much, everyone, for your insights. And I would love to open it up now for some questions. And also a big thanks to, our audience for being here and, just kind of being with us in this space. And let's talk a little bit more about, what you guys see for the future and whatnot. Let me get you, so you raise your hands here. No?
We have someone.
Like we go.
Great.
Zed in the back.
Great. Yeah, go ahead. You guys can call on them in the back.
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you. This is absolutely fascinating. But I also wanted to comment that I was on the opening instance. Do we call it opening night or opening instance of Para? And it was absolute joy, fantastic. Everyone should go because it was really a lot of fun. My I tried to get the under, and I'm having technical problems. Like I have an index, so I can't move around in it, so I haven't been able to experience that yet. But my question is, where? The question is, how do people find out about where to go to see theater? I know that you guys did a production of Tempest. I would have loved to see that, but I only learned about it last week after it was done. So the question is, how do we get plugged into the community? Thank you again.
Well, there actually isn't a lot. I only jump in because you mentioned the Tempest. Yeah, there isn't a lot of productions out there doing anything right now. So the Presents was doing some stuff, and then we did the Tempest. I would check the Rain Dance Film Festival website. You might find a surprise there, but I will mention that the Tempest is only available on Oculus and Oculus Rift because it was supported by Oculus. And then there's the Underpresents Tempest. There's Finding Pandora X. There was Alien Rescue, which is on Neo's platform, and then there's us. So there's just not a lot of live theater that I know about happening, but it's accessible, right, Brian?
Yeah, I would say if you're a promoter and you actually have an experience that you want to promote, I would say diversify. We are an immersive theater experience, we are a horror experience, we are a VR experience, and we've been trying to promote to all of those platforms. There's Everything Immersive on Facebook, which is for immersive experiences, typically in the real world, not in VR, but they do have a subsection of that group that does have VR access, so you can promote to them. We have Horror Buzz. I work for Horror Buzz. You can promote. You can send us your information. We'll be happy to promote your shows as well. There's other similar sites like No Proscenium that also handle that sort of stuff. And then of course the Alt Space community. If you're doing something in Alt Space, there's also places for VR chat community events. So yeah, I would just say anything that your experience can possibly fit into, make sure that you are marketing to all of those potential places, because maybe everyone in that particular subset doesn't have a VR headset, but a certain amount of them will.
Yeah, and I would say the communities are very big, so you'll have a chance to really get to know people who are doing a lot of great things just by the fact that the community is so small.
Also, I would recommend, if you're interested in finding new shows or sharing your show or anything of that nature, prior to the creation of Para, we actually created a Discord server specifically dedicated to kind of creating a community specific to theater experiences in VR. It's called VR Live. I can't exactly give you a URL because it's a long string of things.
Yeah, just reach out to us. We don't have it here, but yeah, reach out to us or find us via. Well, just friend me, and if you need the link, we'll get that for you. But yeah, that's a good source.
Also, I'm pretty sure all of our Instagram and Twitter handles and stuff are on this little board over here, and we'd all be happy to link you up with whatever information you're looking for.
100%, yes.
Oh, great. We have another hand. And thank you, Zed. That was really great. Really appreciate that thought. So who else would like to ask the oracular theatorium?
I think Cam Crew had their hand up. Did you have a question?
Great.
Yeah, it's not so much a question, but it's interesting that in the 80s I was a part of something in Chicago called Dungeon Master, which predated LARPing. It was a live Dungeons and Dragons theatrical experience, and these guys would run around backstage, and they put on a show, and they would bring people up from the audience. I think it was the first immersive theater experience I was ever a part of. And
okay, can I ask a question that might be a bit obvious, but just to clarify? Oh, hey.
Go ahead.
Where do we go to see this? How do we experience Para?
So the easiest way might be to go to bit.ly/ParaVR, which I believe is in the description for this world and event. It's in VR chat. We made it in VR chat just because they allow you to customize the avatars fully. But that's probably the most convenient way to get to it. Also, as we mentioned earlier, we've got our social media here. If you're not able to find it, feel free to reach out to us or friend us here and message, and we'll send you on your way.
Yeah, I can confirm in the event description we have our Eventbrite page where you can purchase tickets. We also have our trailer where you can hear more of me if that's something you're interested in. Check that out.
Cool. Okay. Thanks. Sorry.
Thank you. And I didn't catch who it was that was speaking a little bit a moment ago. Okay, that was Puppy Cub. No.
Where's our dungeon master?
Yes. Where's the
DM?
dungeon
Where's the
master?
DM?
Where's the DM?
Was that
It was one of the camera crew, I think.
Was it?
Danielle Lyon? Were you talking about your dungeon master
Oh.
experience in Chicago?
Oh.
We may have lost a dungeon master. Well, we are.
Oh goodness.
No, not
Oh no. What's gonna happen now? Who's got some dice? Can you please roll? What do we need? A D20? Well, that suffice.
Yes.
Recovery
Roll
roll?
for initiative.
Sorry about that.
Roll
I muted myself, but so
Who is that?
Oh, Daniel Lyon.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, and I'm in theater and I do Zoom meetings, and so this is all very exciting for me. But what I'm like, it just got my brain thinking to this point where where the immersive characters in the audience might be armed and have spells that they can cast and can really get involved. And I wonder about maybe sort of a fusion between theater and the high-end gaming community where instead of cutscenes you've got characters who are interacting.
That sounds fantastic. Yes.
I like your cut. You should join the team, my guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want in?
Unfortunately, there's a limited number of platforms right now. We would love a better platform. The Underpresents is an amazing platform, but unfortunately they are currently a walled garden. There's no way for outside creators to get in there and use those tools. So we chose VR chat as it was sort of the best option for our needs. Mostly the avatars. These are great. They're not very scary. That's the problem. But yeah, no, we would, yeah, absolutely. I think that a focused theatrical platform would be a lovely thing, and hopefully it comes and we can do much higher quality shows. But yeah, for the time being, we're kind of left with VR chat as our main option. And there are tools available for VR chat for doing various Dungeons and Dragons type things. So there is a wide array of things to look at for VR chat, but it's just a matter of seeing things. Especially what's going to work for Quest worlds. That was a big thing for us. Is most of the VR world is on Quest, so we need something that's going to work for Quest, which does limit you somewhat in the sort of high quality experience that you can offer.
It does. Thank you, Daniel, and that was terrific. So we've got just a couple more minutes left. Again, thank you everyone for coming. And any other questions? We're not holding a hard end time here, but I just want to, if anyone's got a real question.
Is there a chat group or any place that we can go to communicate with folks who are interested in this and contribute ideas?
VR Live Discord server. Yep. That is where you want to be. And
Thank you.
Like I said, just contact any of us. Contact Braden through his social media or Deirdre. They can get you set up. I'm kind of an introvert hermit, so I don't have any social media out there. But I'm sure any of them will get you situated. And yes, VR Live. Hopefully, we're hoping to be a hub for all live performance in VR. Whether that's musical performances, dance performance, theatrical performance, anything that involves live actors in VR. That's where we hope to bring the community together.
Yes, absolutely. If any of you have interest, even if it's cursory and just kind of want to follow along, or you want to actively participate, join in, build your own thing, any of the above, yeah, just feel free to shoot one of us a message through either here or one of our social media accounts, and we'll get you set up.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much. So we're going to wrap it up right now, but again, we'll be hanging out afterwards. Thank you again for coming and for sharing your questions, all of you, and to our camera crew. we look forward to seeing all of you and maybe acting with you, performing with you, and finding new mind-bending ways to kind of bring people together and have new experiences, whatever our new world looks like as we move forward. This is going to be part of it in one way or another. So that to me is exciting, and we're just excited to share it all with you. So thanks so much.
I guess a lot of us are going to be along for this little tour here. So if you want to just walk and ask a few questions
If you
as
want
they
to
come to
just hang
mind,
out.
We're
just
so
hang out,
right. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we can do some we'll open a portal in a couple minutes and we can do a little world touring if you guys are into it. So
We would love
some
to
extra
hear your
fun.
ideas and what it is you're working on as well. That would be fun.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody.
I want more
Thank you,
friends.
everybody.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much. We appreciate you all
you.
so much. You're the best.
Yay.
We love you.
Thank you
Can we do a
guys.
bow?
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
Let's all come stand in the
Have a nice
center,
evening,
yeah.
everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have our,
It'll be fun.
our little bows.
Hi,
Little ending
everybody.